righty. Now, as we do each week, this is when I share with you what's on my little tiny mind. You know, every week, every year, we talk about the same thing with this. And this year, I kind of took a different view of it. You know, over the years, when I read some of the different Devar Torah, the different Divrei Torah that I give you each year, sometimes I go back and I believed it at the time and I liked it at the time. And now I look back, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe that was. Sometimes I can't believe it because it's really good, but that's rare. Usually I can't believe it because I can't believe that I would say such a thing or come to that kind of a conclusion. But that's the beauty of Torah. It is. Anyway, our tradition generally does not view the mission of the spies in this week's Torah reading as a test of faith. It's kind of interesting, right? On the contrary, there's a midrash that was echoed by Rashi that says, of course, Rashi was he was a rabbi, and his commentaries on the Torah, the Tanakh, the Talmud, everything was just, people generally don't argue with him. His commentaries are just amazing. But he says that God merely allowed the mission to go forward, but did not command it. Well, we know that. God didn't say, go send these people. No, the people did. But God allowed it. God could have said, no, don't do it. You don't need to do it. But God allowed it. It seems that God wanted our ancestors to enter the land on faith without checking it first. But the people of Israel couldn't do that. The land of Israel is not an Amazon package that we could send back or reject. It's different than that. It's a plot of land in the worst neighborhood in the world that was given to us by God, not by anybody else. God gave that land to us. Again, it's not an Amazon package. If you get an Amazon package and it's not what you thought you were buying, it goes back. You can send it back. Not Israel. But being humans, we are not omniscient. We are not all-knowing. We don't know what God knows. We don't. So Moses and the chieftains elected to go into the land on a fact-finding expedition. That's all it was. They were, strictly speaking, the scouts were really not spies. They were really explorers. That's what they went in to do, explore, not to inspect. You know the difference between an inspector and an explorer. An explorer is like a tourist. How many of us have gone on different vacations, or we went touring the beauty of the mountains in the fall, or the oceans, or a sunset? We're going there to explore it. We're not going there to inspect it. Inspectors come to the house. They look for things that are wrong. They go to places looking for things that are wrong. Not tourists. Tourists, we go there to find out what we like and what's beautiful and what's good. You know, Menachem Litvak was a rabbi born in 1954. He's still alive. He's an American-Israeli modern Orthodox, but he's also a religious Zionist rabbi. All right, but he's a modern Orthodox religious Zionist rabbi. He's a Tanakh scholar, one of the most prolific and most respected of our time, and he's a pioneer of Jewish education on the internet. So this is not just a guy that sits around with old ideas. He's trying to bring the internet to people. And he points out that the word meraglim, which is the Hebrew word used in the Torah for these people that go out and scout, it doesn't appear in our Torah portion at all, but it does appear in the first verse of this week's Haftorah that we just heard. And it's about Yehoshua's spies in Jericho. Rabbi Litvak compares Yehoshua's 2 spies with Moshe's 12. All right. But again, they're not spies. That's just the wrong word. It's scouts. They're scouting it out. They're not they weren't supposed to be looking to see what was bad. They were going to look to see how it was good, because they had just been so many things with God. So Yehoshua scouts needed nerves of steel and bravery to go in because of what they were told last time. But these 2 were already there and they liked it. So Moshe's explorers were more like travelers, more like tourists, and people who just needed to bring some fresh clothes, walking sticks, and an open mind. That's it. So what then was the sin of the other 10 travelers in the Torah? What did they do wrong? 10 of them came back with negative, pessimistic views of the land, while 2 of them, Caleb and Yehoshua, gave an optimistic opinion. It's beautiful there. It's great there. The other 2, oh God, you don't want to go there. The people are so big. They're so big. They're giants. Even the grasshoppers are bigger than us. And to them, we look like grasshoppers. How did they know? Think about it. How did the 10 spies know that we look like grasshoppers to the others? How did they know? Anyway, we traditionally hold that the 10 wicked spies didn't have faith in God. That's what we're taught, and that's what I taught all the years. But I was reading Rabbi Litvak, and he says, no, that's impossible. They didn't lack faith in God. That's not even possible. How could they lack faith in God when they saw all the miracles that happened from Egypt until now? How could they, which was a couple of years, how could they have no faith in God? How could that be? They had manna. They crossed the sea. They got out of Egypt in one piece. They had all the food they needed. They had animals, they had gold, they had copper, they saw God give the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 statements. How could they not have faith? It's not remotely possible. So he concludes that the sin of the 12 travelers was that they did not believe, not in God, but in themselves. They didn't believe in themselves, in their own ability to conquer the land. They thought they couldn't do it because there were giants there. How am I going to beat giants? This lack of self-confidence went viral and infected the entire nation. That's what he said. You can tell he was big on the internet if he says it went viral. That's the term we use from the internet. But it infected the entire nation. It was a cyber crime, if you will, a cyber event. It wasn't good. It just, everybody got caught it. So there's a big difference between self-confidence and self-esteem, by the way. Let's talk about that. To me, the big sin that the 12 chieftains committed is that they confused the 2, self-confidence and self-esteem. That's not what Rabbi Litvak said, but that's what I understood from what he taught. To me, the big sin was they confused the 2. Self-confidence is how we feel about ourselves, while self-esteem is how we want others to view us. Right? So if we have self-confidence and a little bit of talent, you don't need so much, we can motivate ourselves to do pretty much anything we want to do. If we think we can, and we have a little bit of talent, we can. The result of this is we have self-esteem. We see others who have respect for us, self-esteem. That's the difference. Do we have self-confidence or do we have self-esteem? Why can't we have both? But you don't, uh, you got to be careful. This is different from what the chieftains did, the scouts. This was different. Many people today make the difference of, especially on social media, of demanding self-esteem before we have done anything to deserve it. We make a comment, we want everybody to like it. Doesn't even matter where the comment comes from. It doesn't matter if we researched it. It doesn't matter if it's somebody else's. It doesn't matter. We want to be appreciated for everything we do. That is self-esteem. And that is no good. And that's what these people had. And they could see, oh, these people are bigger than us. They look at us like we're tiny. That's no good. That never works. Now, if they had self-confidence, they'd say, because we have God on our side, we will have no trouble. They didn't think that way. Self-confidence has to come before self-esteem. We cannot deserve any self-esteem if we don't have self-confidence. We can't. It doesn't even work. It's this, in the same way. This is true. You know how you want to bake a cake? They always say, he wants his cake and eat it too. That's true. Why would you bake a cake if you weren't going to eat it? It's self-understanding, self-confidence. I have to have that first. Then, and only then, can I have self-esteem. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisrael Chai.